Our first reading on this 25th Sunday in Ordinary Time from the book of Isaiah. Seek the Lord while he may be found, call him while he is near. Let the scoundrel forsake his way, and the wicked his thoughts. Let him turn to the Lord for mercy, to our God who is generous and forgiving. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are your ways my ways, says the Lord. As high as the heavens are above the earth, so high are my ways above your ways, and my thoughts above your thoughts. The word of the Lord. My second reading from Paul's letter to the Philippians. Brothers and sisters, Christ will be magnified in my body, whether by life or by death. For to me life is Christ, and death is gain. If I go on living in the flesh, that means fruitful labor for me, and I do not know which I shall choose. I am caught between the two. I long to depart this life and be with Christ, for that is far better. Yet that I remain in the flesh is more necessary for your benefit. Only conduct yourselves in a way worthy of the gospel of Christ. The word of the Lord. The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus told his disciples this parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a landowner who went out at dawn to hire laborers for his vineyard. After agreeing with them for the usual daily wage, he sent them into his vineyard. Going out about 9 o'clock, the landowner saw others standing idle in the marketplace. And he said to them, "You too go into my vineyard, and I will give you what is just." So they went off. And he went out again around noon and around 3 o'clock, and did likewise. Going out about 5 o'clock, the landowner found others standing around, and said to them, "Why do you stand here idle all day?" They answered, "Because no one has hired us." He said to them, "You too go into my vineyard." When it was evening, the owner of the vineyard said to his foreman, "Summon the laborers and give them their pay, beginning with the last and ending with the first." When those who had started about 5 o'clock came, each received the usual daily wage. So when the first came, they thought they would receive more, but each of them also got the usual wage. And on receiving it, they grumbled against the landowner, saying, "These last ones worked only about 1 hour, and you have made them equal to us, who bore the day's burden and the heat." He said to one of them in reply, "My friend, I am not cheating you. Did you not agree with me for the usual daily wage? Take what is yours and go. What if I wish to give this last one the same as you? Or am I not free to do as I wish with my own money? Are you envious because I am generous? Thus the last will be first, the first will be last." The Gospel of the Lord. I have spoken about the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, often. Each of them wrote their Gospels to deal with the group that was reading them at that time, that Christian community that they were writing for. In this case, Matthew's writing for that first century in which many of the Jews, not a lot, but some of them have actually switched over to the Christian faith. But also now pagans and Gentiles, you and I are the Gentiles, were joining the faith too, and seeing themselves as part of the chosen people. The Jews didn't like that, and they were upset. This gospel was meant for them, that the landowner who is God can do what he wants for those that he needs to. The daily wage at that time was a denarius, which paid 1 day's meal for one family. This past Friday, I finished a book from Bart Ehrman. He's a religious studies and professor at the University of Carolina, Chapel Hill. He wrote a book called Heaven and Hell, Study a History of the Afterlife. Very well done. He goes back way in the beginning to the Greeks who influenced the Christian faith as well, to Plato and Aristotle and Homer's Iliad and the Odyssey, and looked at how the concept of afterlife is seen and written about and believed. And while I loved the whole study that he did, I was very upset at the end, because he believed in his own mind, after doing this whole study, 500 pages of it, that there is no afterlife. That since we were never born, never lived until we were born, and after we die, That's it. It's the end. Basta, as we say in Italian. I disagree with him. I don't think Jesus came to die on the cross and rise from the dead to be by himself in heaven. I think that there is a time for all of us to be understood, a time for us at the end where our souls will join up with the bodies and we will live for all eternity. There's a whole study that he did of hell and how many have written that the hell is for those who didn't believe in Jesus or those who tortured the early Christians. And we probably have some people in mind for ourselves that we would love to see in hell. But really what it's talking about in this gospel is that the landowner is generous, but so is God. He's generous, he's merciful, he's forgiving. And that will be to our benefit at the end time. And I hope to get there on the other side of the grave so I can tell this guy I disagreed with his writing. God bless. Have a good week.